The topic of this video is procrastination. What a topic! Your goal is to understand why and when you procrastinate and how to control this behavior to avoid the negative consequences, followed by numerous strategies. I often chuckle when I ask my students in class how many are procrastinators. Almost the entire class raises their hands as if they are expecting bonus points or a trophy for the behavior. So let me begin to describe procrastination through the eyes of the procrastinator. First, some exhibit a lack of self-regulation, and it affects their entire lifestyle. It cuts across all domains of their life. They don't cash in gift certificates. They leave Christmas shopping to the last minute. They don't buy concert tickets early. They don't pay bills on time. Even in some courses, faculty have a relaxed attitude toward due dates and accept the assignment whenever it is handed in. Other procrastinators exhibit the behavior to protect themselves. They say such things as, "I work best under pressure." And that serves an important protective function, allowing a rationale for the behavior. Or, "I failed a test, but I didn't study for it. So I'm capable, but I just didn't apply myself." Also, procrastination can be viewed as an acceptable form of rebellion. "I didn't do that assignment because it looked too hard." Or, "I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do," when in reality, you really did know what you were supposed to do, but it had no value for you. Yet another procrastinator actively looks for distractions. It's not uncommon for procrastinators to distract themselves with video games, Skyping, iChatting, and they pray for friends to interrupt them. "Let's go to the movies." "Okay, I'll just do my work when I get back." Yeah, sure. You know that isn't going to happen. And finally, there are physical and social costs to procrastination. They are health-related, and interpersonal relationships are affected by it. Health-wise, procrastinators may have more colds, flu, gastrointestinal problems, and insomnia. Social costs are things like shifting responsibilities onto others, which can cause resentment among peers. It can also destroy teamwork in the workplace and destroy personal relationships. So get ready. There are 3 categories of procrastinators. Which one is you? The first one, these are thrill seekers or arousal types. They love that last-minute high. They've gotten used to working under pressure, and that stress is familiar, habitual, predictable, and welcomed. Believe it or not, it is so unnecessary. But they'll say, "I only know how to work under stress." This is observed in the student who crams for exams rather than studying over time. The next one are avoiders. They avoid a fear of failure or a fear of success. They're concerned with what others think. They want to be seen as a lack of effort rather than a lack of ability. At the drop of a hat, they'll find someone to socialize with instead of doing their work. They'll even clean their room instead of doing work. You see this in the student who doesn't do homework, but decides the room needs to be cleaned or laundry needs to be done. The last category are fence sitters. They can't make a decision about whether to stay in a course or not. They can't decide if they want to go home for the weekend or not. And by the time they make the decision, it's too expensive, so the decision has been made by the airline. They wait for friends to decide on the movie to see. They can't make the decision, but agree with the decision of the friends. Notice in both situations, they're totally absolved of all responsibility. Keep in mind that procrastination is about consequences. Some consequences are significant, such as receiving a reduced grade for handing in an assignment late, arriving 20 minutes late to an exam and not being allowed to take it, or being charged interest on an overdue traffic ticket or bill. Or how about when you admit you are frazzled and stressed because a test is coming and you haven't been studying? Notice how procrastinating behaviors can result in those undesirable consequences. But you know that. There are some consequences that are insignificant in comparison. Not being prepared for a large lecture class, for example, where the chances of being called on to contribute are nil. Note you still will have to do the work at some point, but you begin to feel so out of it and uneasy because you have no idea what the professor is talking about while in class, and everybody else seems to know. So there is a consequence, however, it is less impacting than the previous examples. So think about it. What are consequences that you have experienced? Be honest with yourself. Keep in mind that your consequences may be a lower grade, higher stress levels, anxiety such as test anxiety, being unprepared for a class or for a test, or a really messed up relationship. Do you consider them significant consequences? Do the consequences change your behavior? Or do you continue to procrastinate and continue to experience significant consequences? Here's a pearl of wisdom. If you continue to do what you've always done, you will continue to get what you've always gotten. Now I'm going to repeat that because this is important. If you continue to do what you've always done, you will continue to get what you've always gotten. Just think about it. Now is the time to be honest with yourself. Moving forward, here we go. Answer these questions to yourself. Do you recognize the need to change your procrastinating behavior? What tells you it's time for a change? What tells you no change is necessary? Are the consequences great enough to change the behavior? When do you reach the threshold to change? And what pushes you over? Each of the strategies gives you the opportunity to recognize and reflect on your procrastinating behavior. Really think about the consequences of your procrastination and how you spend your time while you are procrastinating. This will help you understand why and how you are procrastinating. In addition, you will choose another strategy to try, and this graphic organizer identifies the anti-procrastinating strategies that a number of the students in previous semesters of this course found particularly effective. Each of the strategies are described in Chapter 12. In addition, here are 2 quick and dirty strategies that will help you deal with your procrastinating behavior. One was addressed in the task management video clip, and that is chunking the task. The other is the 10-minute technique. You applied and practiced chunking the task when you implemented the Target Planner and Dee's Do and Do Organizer. Both task management strategies helped you see an overwhelming assignment seem much more manageable. Therefore, you were no doubt less tempted to procrastinate rather than getting overwhelmed and at the last minute either producing work that was a minimum of what you are capable of doing or not doing it at all. Feel free to review this strategy in the text on pages 287 to 288. The other strategy is the 10-minute technique. Oh, this is great. The purpose for this strategy is to get you started and experience a sense of accomplishment. So arrange a time to work on that dreaded assignment and work on it for 10 minutes. No more and no less, just 10 minutes. At the conclusion of the 10 minutes, schedule another 10 minutes at a later day or time. Then work for 10 minutes at the second scheduled time. Continue until you finish the assignment. Remember, the purpose is to get you started, so if you find you want to work longer, go ahead. The strategy worked for you. This is described in the text on page 288. I hope that during this video you gained insight into your procrastinating behaviors and the consequences you experience. Until we meet again.